skills, be the boss. No more time to feel lost. Lead the way every day. Find success, it's here to stay. Rise and shine, it's your time. Skill up, raise the climb. Navigate, innovate. It's your fate, don't be late. Get the skills, be the boss. No more time to feel lost. Lead the way every day. Find success, it's here to stay.
If you're a new manager or hoping to be a new manager, join us in our exploration into what managers need to know. This program will set you up for success by building your knowledge and confidence in the skills you need to be effective. Hello, and welcome to our fourth session looking at performance management. Get us going here. On the first session, we looked at the 6-step model, which is performance management throughout the year. And then we started to break out each of the 6 steps. The first 2 steps were in the second session, identifying the key responsibilities and the worker activities necessary to accomplish them, which would be your job description. In the third session, we looked at performance standards, both qualitative and quantitative standards. And today we're going to be looking at how we monitor that in a user-friendly way, user-friendly both for the supervisor or manager as well as for the employee, and then giving feedback. So here is our model, and we are, I don't know if here's the first step, the second step, the third step, and here we're monitoring throughout the year and providing feedback. Let me get back to this. So now that we have standards, they need to be monitored. They can't just be out there in the blue sky and nobody's doing anything with them. The employees know how well they are expected to perform. Now they need meaningful and timely feedback. We want to identify the means and frequency of measurement to determine the degree to which the key responsibilities and worker activities are performed in compliance with the standards. But the monitor must be user-friendly, otherwise it will not occur. If it can coincide with normal supervisory contact and activities, that would be ideal. It will be employee-friendly if it provides sufficient objective feedback with adequate timeliness, so that if there's a problem, it can be corrected before it is repeated. So just to remind you of what we have identified, we were working with a trainer position, and we said that one key responsibility is the development and delivery of training programs. And in order to do that, the worker activities, we had 8: conduct a needs assessment, establish training subject area priorities, perform research in the subject area, develop the training materials, schedule the training, deliver the training, evaluate the training, and revise the training if necessary. And we determined that for the standards could be that the subject met the client's needs, content was up to date, developed the desired skills, and notice was adequate. And the qualitative standard might be that 85% of the respondents feel that the training fulfill these four criteria. Or we could look at the frequency in which the training should be provided or the number of subject areas it should cover. But one thing I want to point out to you, if I can do that, is that we decided that the manager or supervisor could not possibly evaluate and monitor all of these activities. But if we focused in on evaluate the training, if that's where we were, then we could determine if all of the other things had occurred. So we have to be very clear about where our focus is going to be. And we want to discuss that with the employee, because then the employee knows if you're going to be monitoring, they know if they're performing well or not. And if they're not, they're going to come to you rather than waiting for you to find the problem. So continuing with our example, the employees and supervisor may mutually decide that the best way for monitoring would be for the supervisor to audit training sessions and then be able to give meaningful feedback to the trainer. If we involve the employee in the decision, they're going to be more likely to understand and accept the supervisor's monitoring presence. We don't want to surprise the trainer, by suddenly appearing without them knowing that that's going to happen. That does not do anybody any good. At this point in the process, the employee already knows what they're expected to do, how they're expected to do it, how well the worker activities are to be performed, both in terms of the qualitative and quantitative standards. And they also know how their performance will be measured. So when you show up to audit, that's not going to be a shock or a surprise. This empowers the employees to be accountable for doing a good job. Because they can measure their own performance against the standards, they don't need to wait for the supervisor or manager monitoring to identify if there's a problem. They're more likely to assume responsibility for contacting their supervisor for assistance in resolving that problem. So they are an active participant in identifying what their worker activities are, identifying what the performance standards are, and hopefully an active participant in determining how best those standards will be monitored. Once you, as a supervisor or manager, have monitored the performance, now you need to give feedback. All right? And that feedback must be timely. Employees need to know how their performance measures against the standards. And unless the employee is specifically aware of how they're performing, they can't know what to continue or where they can improve. Next week, we're going to look at the action that we take once we have monitored and determined whether the performance is acceptable or whether there is a problem with performance that needs to be addressed. So we may be congratulating or rewarding the employee, or we may be doing something very different if they're not performing well, beginning with considering coaching. But that will require that the employee be an active participant, because you can't coach someone who doesn't want to be coached. I want to thank you for sharing your time with me. So let's go here. Thank you so much for coming and participating in our discussion of what managers need to know. You can find the videos of this and previous sessions on my YouTube channel or under events on my LinkedIn profile. I'll look forward to seeing you again next week.
Get the deal, be the boss, no more time to feel lost. Lead the Find success, it's here to stay. Get the skills, be the boss. No more time to feel lost. Lead the way every day. Find success, it's here to stay. It's here to stay. Oh, it's here to stay. It's here to stay. Yeah. Get the skills, be the boss. No more time to feel lost.